you guys? Welcome back to From the Yard on WSUB 106.1. And when I tell y'all, first of all, I am so ecstatic for today's show because, as you know, From the Yard is all about highlighting our SU alumni and just shining the light on their story. And when I tell you this guest that we have in the studio with us today, baby, she has made an impact in the industry beyond words can say. So, first and foremost, she has came out of Southern with style and grace. She is a mass comm student. She was a mass comm student, excuse me. She's a mass comm graduate. Let me get that correct, okay? A former Golden Blues dancer. And if you probably have seen her on the big screen, okay? She's been in feature films such as Pitch Perfect 2, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, First Christmas, and so much more. She is the true epitome of what it means to just grace the industry and make an impactful, lasting, just essence of who she is. So please, without further ado, help me welcome the beautiful, the one and only Miss Samantha Smith.
Thank you. I love that intro, and I share all those same sentiments with you.
I appreciate that.
You are truly a woman of style, of grace, of purpose, and to just see you continuously grow and to blossom into all that God has created you to be is truly, it's a blessing to see.
I appreciate that. Don't get me don't have me crying.
You know, it's good to see your friends,
Yes.
be in their purpose and to continue to thrive.
Yes.
Your light.
I feel the same exact way. Just every time I see you just doing amazing things, it's always a pleasure and a blessing. Like, if y'all could see us in the studio when we first saw each other, like, we held each other so tight and just hugged because it just feels so good to see you. It's been years since I've seen you, and it's nothing like being in person. So, from Topeka, Kansas, what was it that even inspired you to go to the Southern University?
Wow. Great question. Southern University is the university that my mother graduated from. She was a doll when she was at Southern in the 80s. My grandparents, they met at Southern. They got married while they were still students at Southern. My aunts and uncles have gone to Southern. They are now politicians and attorneys and doctors. So when we would go to family reunions, it was, Southern gear everywhere. I don't ever remember missing a Bayou Classic my entire life. I don't ever remember not seeing my mom excited about the band at any point in my life. So Southern has just always been a part of our family. And when I was in high school, I was born in Topeka, lived in St. Louis. My dad was a pastor, so we moved around a bit because of his pastoral assignments. And so we lived in St. Louis, and then we moved to Baton Rouge when my parents separated. And so when we moved back to Baton Rouge, or I had never been in Baton Rouge, but when my mom moved back to Baton Rouge and we were with her, and I matriculated through school, I was looking at different options for college. And I had my sights set on SCAD. I had my sights set on like film schools, basically. And I will never forget handing my mom a packet for a top school that I wanted to go to in New York. And she looked at it and she was looking through it and she was just like, who's going to pay for this? And I was like, what you mean who's going to pay for it? And she just always was like pushing Southern. And I wasn't too much a fan of that idea. However, I had a love for Southern. So it was bittersweet because I knew that I wanted to leave home and I wanted to go and pursue my dreams and I wanted to go to a conservatory or a college that fostered my dreams. And my mom was like, oh no, you going to Southern.
She said, no ifs, ands, and buts.
I don't care what interest you have. I don't care what applications you putting in. You going to Southern. And when I graduated from high school, I was 17. So I think it was a sense of, for her, not ready to let me, that's early. I was a little sheltered. However, I wasn't unfamiliar with New York because when I was like growing up, I would spend my summers in New York for acting. And so And then I ended up living in New York years after college, so it still worked out. But yeah, I ended up at Southern because my mom wanted me to go. And I'm so grateful that I did end up at Southern because, I mean, as we're going to dive into, I'm sure, in this conversation, there truly is no place like it.
Wow, so you are really just even unraveling just different layers of your life that I was also just interested in. And especially because you landed the role in Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins at a very young age, and to hear that you were always aspiring to be an actor. So when did that spark ignite in your life to be like, you know what, I want to be on the big screens, period?
I would say that the spark happened when I started out in pageants and I started out in theater at my school. My mom, it all goes back to my mama.
Shout out to mom.
That is the seed for everything that's gonna grow. Okay, I love you, mama. But my mother, she was and still is an artist at heart, a creative at heart. She danced, she sings, she was living in California, making music, she's doing all these things. And so being her firstborn child, of course, like, oh, I'm gonna put my daughter in everything arts. And she did that. We explored arts, we explored sports, everything, but arts just stuck. So when I would be in pageants, my talent would always either be singing mommies and daddies or doing a monologue. And so I would always win the pageants. I'm not saying that in a boastful way. It was just like, love being on stage. And so when I got on stage, it was like my time. But it was interesting because off stage, I was very inside. And you could find me in a corner reading a book. So upon doing pageants, I started really being interested in more like, oh, that's a cool commercial, or and so I started modeling. I got with this modeling agency at the time. It was called Stage 2000 here in Louisiana. And I started doing print modeling, and that opened up doors to opportunities to do commercials. And so we ended up going to New York. Well, actually, we went to Dallas it was called the MB Expo, and that's where I got my first agent. And so my agent was based out of New York. So we went to New York. I was auditioning. I was auditioning for Broadway, auditioning for commercials, auditioning for movies, just doing all these things, right? And I ended up booking my first commercial, and it was a Barbie commercial. And I still have it to this day. But I ended up booking it, and I just loved the experience. I loved waking up and having that anticipation of going to set. And I love the fact that I didn't have to figure out what I was going to wear. Like, I was showing up being treated like royalty. And I was like, I love it. So, did that. But that wasn't the spark. The spark was when I saw it. When I saw it on TV, and I was like, wow, that's really me. Then I looked around at everybody who was around me, and I saw how excited they were. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, I want to continue to do this. Like, it just made me feel so proud. I'm connecting that now. Like, I felt that would be the word for it. I was proud. And I was proud that everybody else was proud. And so I just I started going to acting class and getting involved, staying in my like school theater groups, and I was in talented drama and all of these things. And it was just the one thing that always stuck. And for me personally, like, that was a spark. But as you lose the spark, and then the spark comes back, and you lose the spark, and the spark comes back, but you lose it because it's such a fluctuating industry. But yeah, the spark happened when I first saw myself, and I was, for the first time, very, very proud of myself.
Even just learning about where that came from, you were at 7 years old when you were featured in a Barbie commercial. That's everyone's dreams, to just even be next to Barbie, period. And I think it's just so much weight when it comes to having people in your family who support you and who want to pour in. I think that a lot of people don't have that, and to know that you had parents in your life that poured into what it is that you wanted to do and just wanted to provide another type of lifestyle, it's embedded within your family. You said your grandparents met at Southern.
They met at Southern and got married while they were still students at Southern.
talk about Southern University legacy at its core.
At its core, yes.
So, with your family being at Southern and you being able to experience that, how was your transition of just being on the yard as a student? Was it something that still was a bit familiar to you, or when you stepped in that lane, you're like, okay, I'm by myself now? Like, okay, was that different? Or was it like easy for you?
It was definitely a new world. I still lived at home my freshman year, and so actually I never lived on campus. Like I never lived in dorms or any of the apartments, and when I did move away from home, I lived in like apartments elsewhere that weren't near Southern. So but it was still a very new world because like the second week of school, I auditioned for Golden Blues and made it. And that just opened up a whole element of my experience that was very rich and full. And I had family members who were a part of the faculty at Southern. So there were people that I knew so it was a new world, but it was also very comfortable. I wasn't like fearful. I met my very best friend to this day. Like I met her the second week or actually I met her before classes even started. And so, but I will say I actually started at Southern in June. So when I got there, it was quiet, and maybe that's why it was easier transition for me in the fall because I had already kind of been there. It was comfortable. I never felt like, oh, this is too much. There was an element of freedom because my family, like I said, I was a little sheltered growing up, but once I went to college, and they kind of backed off a bit, and though I was staying at home, they still gave me that freedom to, okay, she's in college, but I still was respectful of their house, like, because that's just how I was raised. And by that time, fear had been put into my heart to not respect the house. So I was home and I was supposed to be home. And if I wasn't coming home and I was staying with, one of my teammates or my friend, I would call, let them know. But yeah.
Then the second week, you tried out for the Golden Blues dance team, which y'all was always on point. Okay, I'd be like, I've been in the stands modeling after y'all. Okay, wait a minute. How was that? And what even like just sparked that interest to even audition for the Golden Blues?
Well, I actually had interest in being a part of a different dance team on campus. And as I was going through that process, the coach from Golden Blues had reached out to me, Jonas Vanderbilt. I love Jonas. He reached out to me and he let me know that there was another option available. And encouraged me to come to tryouts. When I got to tryouts, I realized that it actually was the best fit for me.
Wow.
Golden Blues is such a diverse dance group.
Yes.
And when I say diverse, everything from ballet to hip hop to tap to liturgical, Golden Blues does. And that is the thing that differentiates Golden Blues from other, dance teams at HBCU schools. So being on Golden Blues was a marvelous experience. It really shaped me, not just as a dancer, but it shaped me as a woman. We were expected to be excellent in all things and in all ways. And any falling short of that expectation resulted in consequence. Being held to a level of excellence and a standard of excellence as a young woman who is in college, it begins to shape you and it begins to teach you lessons that carry with you throughout your life. And so, we would travel, we would go on these recruitment trips. It gave me an opportunity to see, okay, I'm not just on this dance team, but I'm a part of recruiting the next generation of students that are going to come to Southern. Like, we're a part of this. And it's not just Golden Blues that would go on the dance. I mean, on these recruiting trips, it'd be the band, it'd be the Dolls, it'd be the Golden Blues, it'd be SGA, it'd be every recruitment, like everything to pull these students. And so it just, being a part of Golden Blues, like, you're part of something bigger. You are asked to be everywhere for everything, for every event, for every, if the door is open, Golden Blues is going to like be asked to be in attendance. And so the most that I have taken away or that I enjoyed about Golden Blues was just the relationships and the lessons that I was able to receive while on that team.
Y'all, she not lying, okay? Y'all were everywhere. I was vicariously living my dance life through y'all, just hearing how y'all had that camaraderie and the fact that it became just something that was a perfect fit for you. I think that speaks volumes. And like you said, it just allowed you to be shaped and molded into the woman, and you've learned so many lessons. So I'm gonna peel back another layer. If you don't mind sharing, what is one of those lessons that you learned that still carries with you till this day?
One of those lessons, again, was taught to me by Jonas Vanderbilt. Jonas is still a very good friend of mine, and that's one thing I can say about Jonas. He was a coach, but he's a friend as well. He's a mentor. Jonas taught me that in order to be excellent in one area, there are levels to excellence. So if you want to be on this dance team, but you're lacking in these other areas, if you're not showing up for class, if you are not showing up for practice, if your GPA falls below a certain below a certain level, if I'm hearing about you on campus, if you're showing up to class looking any kind of way, you won't reach being able to be recognized as being excellent on this team because you won't be on this team. There are levels to being like in any, whether it be track, whether it be basketball, football, Golden Blues, Dolls, band, when you are in one of those positions as a student, you are a face for the university and you represent more than yourself. And so if you are lacking in excellence in any of these other areas, that could negatively reflect on the organization or group that you are a part of, then your priorities are messed up and you need to go focus on what you lacking. That was a huge lesson that I was blessed to be able to receive from Golden Blues. And it's not something that, that was the same expectation growing up in my house, like from my parents and my family. But, when you get it from your family is one thing, when you get it from somebody else, it's another. So that was a lesson.
I can see how that can just translate into your life, because that's why I was like, ooh, like, wait a minute, because I ain't gonna lie. I was like, that reminded me of a conversation I had with someone the other day about what is going to change going into this new year and how you have to show up. And I love how you broke that down. There are different levels to excellence. And shout out to Jonas for even just pouring in. Like, I think that's what distinguishes lifelong friendships versus people who were just in your life for just a season. You are able to take what they're able to pour in and apply it to your life. And like you said, you've were raised like this. So it was just something that was effortless, and you see like the magnitude of it now. Ooh, well, y'all, we are not through yet, okay? We have so much more that we are diving into. But before you do anything else, don't go anywhere. Just make sure you stay tuned. Enjoy this music break. We'll be right back.
Support for this program comes from TRG Financial, helping families, professionals, and brands develop clear, coordinated plans for savings, retirement, and estate needs, bringing organization to financial uncertainty. More at trg-financial.com.
Welcome back to From the Yard on WSUB 106.1. I am your host, Armourie, and I am so delighted to be here with y'all because, as y'all know, before the break, we had the beautiful Samantha Smith just sharing her journey and all of the amazing things from what inspired her to get into acting, what ignited her to go to Southern. Shout out to Mom Dukes, okay, for holding it down because would have not even had the opportunity to meet this beautiful gem and just learning about your journey while being at Southern, being on the Golden Blues dance team. And you are also a Mass Comm graduate, okay? Shout out to Mass Comm. What inspired you to major in mass communications?
Mass communications was the closest thing that made sense to acting. I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be able to go to a college that is going to foster my dreams, then I'm going to go into a major where I'm going to still be in front of camera. And I love storytelling. I mean, literally, like, all I did as a kid was read. And so I just love storytelling. If I was reading something, it was something like it was going to be a thriller, a psychological thing. It was going to have to be something that had to be figured out. And my brain started working like that. Like, I got to figure this out. And so mass communications just seemed like a natural fit. And like I really didn't even explore other majors, to be quite honest with you. In hindsight, I'm like, could I have done this or could I have done that? But at that time, it was just like, this is the closest thing to being on camera. So
even before the show, you were just sharing how much of a transformation they've gone through. You mind sharing a bit about that?
Yes. So the mass communications department is phenomenal right now. They are just so blessed. It is just state of the art facility. I was able to go through a tour of the interior of like the renovations of the new studio, and they have like a student lounge now. And I am just like, wow, these students are so blessed and they'll be able to do so many things. They've added a digital arts or digital media, but yeah, they've added a whole new like layer of curriculum to the department. And it's just, I love to see it. They have a studio similar to this. Like, it's awesome. And Southern continues to evolve. And that's what I love about Southern. Everything that we've talked about up until this point, Golden Blues, Mass Comm, just it continues to evolve. And that is something when we talk about legacy that we can be proud of as graduates of Southern. To know that we come from an institution that does require excellence and does continue to evolve. And child, my sister, she's at Southern right now. I tell her all the time, like, make sure that you soak it all in because you truly are, like, you're in a good space. You're at a good place. We talk about that. All of my sisters have gone to Southern. The last one, the baby now, and have graduated from Southern. And so the baby is there now. She's a senior, and she'll be graduating next December. So
the continuation of the Southern University legacy, how does she feel knowing that her sister was on campus, did her big things, and are still doing big things? How does she feel? Like, is she proud? Like, what did she say? And even, so you had older sisters that went to Southern?
I'm the oldest of four. Samantha, Savannah, Samaria, Serena. We call ourselves S4. Savannah, right under me, she was a cheerleader. She went on to be the cheerleading coach for a few years. And then Samaria, she was on Golden Blues. And Serena, who's there now, is a music major. And she's been, producing her own music and doing the thing.
It speaks creativity and it speaks just the gifts that are outpouring in your family. Like, you can't make this up. At this point, y'all need a whole show.
God gets the glory for all of it.
Speaking of evolution, what was the journey like, or the transition rather, from graduating Southern University and then entering into your work field, your industry?
That's a good question. It actually wasn't a transition. I was still actively in my career while I was a college student. I was working on set as a professional actor as a college student, and that was such an experience for me because I didn't know anybody else that was doing that. And it's like, as peers who are in the same major, we can come to each other and be like, girl, do you understand this assignment? Or can you help me with this? as a dancer, you can share in triumphs and trials together. But being isolated in the sense of I'm meeting deadlines as a professional actor that I have to meet, I'm required to meet, and I'm meeting deadlines as a student. I was already in my career. So when I graduated, I was so blessed because we had in Mass Comm professors that knew that I was working as an actor and knew what I did, and they worked with me. They would allow me to get things in a little sooner, or if I needed to extend something, if I let them know enough time, like ahead of time, if I was going to be gone or on set or something like that, they would accommodate to ensure that they were still being fair to where I was submitting my things like everybody else, but would make adjustments for me so that I'd be able to be compliant with getting my assignments in. Upon graduating, I was just really happy to be able to kind of just fly. And that's exactly what I did. When I graduated, I moved to New York. I just dived all the way in. And I actually went because I reconnected with the first agent that I ever had in New York. Reconnected with her, told her that I'd be coming. And when I got there, didn't hear anything from her.
When you got there?
Before I went, I told her I was coming. She was like, yes, come on. When I got there, heard nothing. So it was really like I had to start completely over on my own, had to build my community, had to kind of like really just, is this what I really want or not? That's, that was another spark moment where I realized, okay, if I don't have anybody else helping me and in my corner and I have to start from square one, am I still willing to do it? And I was.
God is so intentional, because when you just said that you have to literally start over, what came to my mind was he's not going to send you anywhere that he don't think that you can handle. Even if she didn't answer, she just went completely ghost, he knew that you were well equipped enough to handle whatever was going to come your way. I'm telling y'all, she is a beautiful gem. Powerhouse. Speaking of powerhouse in the making, I'm going to hand this next portion over to you so you can, do what you do.
Okay, cool. Check out this next musical selection from Imani Nairi. This song is called Reminiscing.
I remember them late night texts and FaceTime calls. I take too long, you hate, I start, we constantly arguing with each other. And I miss you and you miss me too, but there's some things that we just can't do. I sit around and think and I just wonder. You got me reminiscing, yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You got me reminiscing, yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Boy, something about you, I'm so glad that I found you. The way you stay, used to love the way you played in my hair. I can't think about anyone else, 'cause you got me reminiscing, yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You got me reminiscing, yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You got me reminiscing, yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can't get you out of my mind, 'cause I think about you all of the time. While I'm out doing shows, my love still grows through the high and the lows. Trust me, they'll never know. From beginning to end, my love never bends. You gotta you friend until the end, reminiscing. Yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You got me reminiscing. Yeah. These thoughts here to stay, they not drifting away. You got me reminiscing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to From the Yard on WSUB 106.1 with yours truly, Armourie, and the lovely, beautiful Samantha Smith. Before the break, okay, we were diving in all about her journey after Southern University. And first and foremost, did y'all check out that beautiful music selection? This is the legacy running in the family for me.
The girl is blessed, honey. And I'm not saying it because she's my sister. She is truly, truly blessed.
How does that feel being a big sister?
It's responsibility because you know that your sisters have their own personalities. They do their own thing. They're going to make their own choices. But you also know that they look up to you and they look at everything that you do, whether they say it or they don't. And so it's responsibility because it's like when we were growing up, when my parents weren't home, I'm the parent. And then it's just beautiful. I didn't have to like seek out a whole lot of friends and just different stuff because I had sisters.
You went to New York. Agent went missing, just gone. And you literally had to start from the ground up. How was that transition from just like, what was next after that? Like, did you get any jobs anywhere? Or if you don't mind sharing some of the places or the networks that you have worked with?
When I was in New York, I actually did not end up working. I was just trying to get in the door. I still had an agent in the Southeast at that time, so I would still get auditions and things like that. But my entire time out there was really just me making relationships or establishing relationships, meeting as many people as I could, getting my materials in front of as many people as I could, strategically, not just anybody, you know. But it was definitely humbling, and it taught me a whole lot. Like it wasn't just a restart for me professionally. That was a very pivotal time in my life spiritually. Everything. God is so intentional, and He is so kind because He is with you in it all, and He knows before we know what we'll even be facing, and He already makes provision ahead of us. During that time, I had completely lost my faith. I started learning about different spirituality and all of these things and started questioning everything that I believed in. And so God was working completely in me at that time, unbeknownst to me, because it was like everything that I went to New York knowing that I knew was questioned while I was in New York. And He chased me down while I was there. And everything that I had to rebuild was rebuilt even stronger. My desire for God became stronger. My belief, my faith became stronger. That's where my faith was developed, not the faith that was passed down to me from my family. That's where I learned God for myself. And in that, everything else followed. So that's where I decided if I'm going to pursue this career, I'm going to have to pursue it through God. I'm not going to be able to rely on my mom, not going to be able to rely on my agent, because you can travel all the way up to New York and your agent can go missing. Then what? I knew in that season that was a defining moment for me that taught me that no matter where my career is, I trust what God told me.
Wow.
From New York, I ended up moving back home. Then I stayed here for a little bit. Then I moved to Atlanta, lived in Atlanta for a while. I worked with Netflix while I was in Atlanta, Warner Brothers. Then just me as an actor, I worked with Paramount. Like I worked with Disney. I worked with all of these companies. And all of that came after what I just talked about.
And she dropping big names. I'm over here like Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, Netflix, you name it. I really want to ask this question. How important is it to continue to keep God rooted in your faith, especially in the industry that you work in? Like, has there ever been a time where your moralities either compromised or something of that nature? Like, how do you push past those barriers?
It's the most important thing. Having God in my faith at the forefront of all that I do is the most important thing. It is the source from which everything else flows. I have been put in compromising situations or asked to be a part of compromising situations in the name of booking a role or being a part of a project. And my conviction in my faith is the first thing that prevents me from ever compromising. The second thing that prevents me from compromising is the family that I come from. Because one thing, they gonna keep you humble. You are never, you have, I don't care how big you think you are not ever so big that you compromise what you know is right. Mm-hmm. And the third thing that continues now to keep me from compromising are my nieces, and the fact that I know that one day I'm gonna have children, and the fact that I've been a teacher and I've been in education before, and you know that there are younger people who are looking up to you, and what you show them is acceptable is what they will believe is acceptable and is what they will follow. My faith being at the forefront of it all really is just like, it's a part of every decision I make. It's a part of every relationship that I seek to establish or maintain or let go, because you have to be equally yoked. My desire, I didn't create my gift. I know that my gift comes from God. And so for me, I have a responsibility to submit my gift to God and to allow my gift to be used for Him. So in that, my decisions are inspired completely by my obedience to God.
That's so deep, sis. It makes me think about that song by Tasha Cobbs, For Your Glory.
Girl, I love that song. That's one that stays in my spirit.
What advice would you give an aspiring actress or aspiring actor who is either coming from Southern or just anyone who needs to hear some inspiring words?
Be yourself. You don't have to try to be anything other than you. And if there's something within you that you don't like, do the work to fix it. But do not compromise, and do not feel that you have to be anything other than what you were created to be a part of anything or to be connected to anybody. Like, you truly are enough, and your gift will make room for you. You don't have to push yourself through anywhere. God will prepare a table for you, and that is, you have to walk in that. And coming from Southern, you've already experienced a level of perseverance. Lean on those lessons, lean on those moments where you had to push through. Lean on that and be true to yourself.
What does being a Southern University Jag mean to you? And if you had to leave the viewers or the listeners with a Jag gem, what would that be?
Being a Southern University Jaguar, what that means to me is being a part of excellence. It means that we are standing on the shoulders of so many who came before us so that we could be who we are in the world. Southern University has historically been underfunded. Southern University has historically been a college that provides quality education to Black, brown students and all. But we are a historically Black college. And so with that, being a Southern University Jaguar gives me a sense of pride, because I know that when we were first given the funding to even be an institution, we were able to develop like 6 or 7 accreditations for the courses that, with minimal funding. And so if we can make strides with minimal funding, and you have these other universities that are in the same state and same city that have adequate funding to do all the things that they need to do, and we are working with the scraps and the minimal, then being a Southern University Jaguar tells me I can do anything, because that's what we've historically been able to do. And a Jag gym, I would say be intentional. Be intentional. Like, really decide what you want for yourself, what you want for your life, how you want it to look, and line everything up to honor that. Be very, very, very intentional. You're going to get to campus. You're going to have fun. You're going to do all the things, but remember that that is a season that is setting you up for the rest of your life. And so be intentional, seek out mentorship, seek out community, and reach out to people like us. We'll talk. And if you already are a Jag and you are out there in the world and you getting it, keep going. Don't stop. That's my advice. Just don't stop. The minute you stop, that's it. But if you don't stop, there's still endless possibilities.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Ain't gonna stop.
Hey. Oh my gosh, y'all just don't understand this powerhouse that I had joining us today. If you missed this episode, you tripping. You be tripping big time. Please let everybody know where they can connect with you and follow you.
My Instagram is _ Samantha Smith. My Twitter is Samantha Smith Yo. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can connect with me. Yeah, those are the places where you can connect with me.
Thank you again. It has been an honor to interview you. Continue soaring, continue blooming, and I can't wait to come to the next premiere, you know.
I can't wait to have you there, honey, because you're going to be right on my side as my person, like, who we need to talk to in here.
Whatever you need, just call me. I am here.
Thank you so much for having me. God is in you, and he is with you, and you just continue to be the light that you are.
You see me over here trying to hold my tears back right now, because I feel like I'm kind of going through the journey that you went through in New York right now.
Yeah, he got you.
Like, I was trying to hold it this entire episode. Wait a minute. Okay, let me get it together. Okay, wow. Y'all, make sure you tune in to From the Yard each and every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on WSUB with your girl Armourie. And you just never know who I'm going to bring in here next week. So make sure you stay tuned, locked and loaded, and we out.